Our mission remains clear: to build a Nigeria where every life, including property, is secure, where enterprises thrive, where workers earn with dignity, where young people find opportunity, and where farmers prosper.
Good morning. This is Raw Politics NG. Today we are looking at an honest assessment of President Tinubu's second term. Yesterday, President Tinubu emerged as the APC presidential candidate after winning in the primaries. Let's look at an honest assessment of his performance so far to then we use it to gauge whether it deserves a second term or not. What are the numbers saying? What are the numbers saying? Supporters of a second term point to some real, if modest, progress on paper. APC backers highlight bold economic reforms, including the removal of fuel subsidies, exchange rate unification, and tax restructuring, which they say have begun to stabilize Nigeria's macroeconomic environment. The administration has also recorded consistent GDP growth exceeding 4%. Additionally, international financial institutions have affirmed Tinubu's macroeconomic reform narrative, and Nigeria's external reserves have reached a 7-year high. But here is the critical catch: what the masses are actually feeling. So what the paper is saying, what the numbers are saying rather, is different from what the masses are actually feeling. What this is what the masses are actually feeling. The disconnect between official statistics and lived reality is stark. On paper, the economy is expanding as its fastest pace in 3 years. But in reality, households continue to sink deeper into hardship, squeezed by a cost of living crisis. Nigeria is grappling with its worst cost of living crisis in nearly 30 years. Tinubu's abrupt removal of fuel subsidies without adequate compensatory measures and other economic decisions that neglect economic rights have contributed to pushing millions of people deeper into poverty. The numbers on the ground are sobering. One, the pump price of petrol, which was 197 naira per litre when Tinubu came to power, now hovers around 1,000 to 1,300 per litre. The naira has sharply depreciated from 463 naira per dollar to nearly 1,600 per dollar, while food prices are more than 80% higher than when the election was held. An estimated 63% of Nigerians, which is 129 to 140 million, are presently living in extreme poverty, defined as surviving on a maximum of $2 per day. Many workers across different states still receive the outdated 30,000 naira monthly wage, an amount grossly inadequate to sustain even the most basic standard of living. 3. Nigeria's food inflation Nigeria's food inflation rate rose above the country's all-item inflation rate in April 2026 for the first time in 8 months, signaling renewed pressure on household food costs. Tinubu himself has not denied the pain. He acknowledged in his APC acceptance speech that many Nigerians are still grappling with the impact of rising living costs and economic adjustment, saying challenges remain. Many Nigerians still struggle with rising costs and economic adjustment. The Arewa Consultative Forum's leadership has rated his 2-year performance as failing the region, citing marginalization in federal appointments, infrastructure, and policy decisions. Despite the North's decisive role in delivering its 2023 victory, the coalition of northern groups has warned that it may find it difficult to reclaim northern support in 2027. There have been wide conversations among Nigerians on whether Tinubu will have it easy in 2027. Some point to the state of insecurity and the sharp increase in fuel pump prices. Others measure his performance based on electricity supply and the economy. In all of this, the president and his supporters are telling Nigerians to be patient while they are fixing the country. There's also arguments for a second term, which are listed below. The, the reforms, though painful, are structurally necessary, deferred for decades by previous administrations. Macroeconomic indicators are moving in a positive direction. Reversing course midway could undo fragile progress. Positive effects of policies usually become noticeable after about 3 years, meaning a second term could be when Nigerians actually see the reward of the current pain. Now, there is also an argument against the second term. There is also an argument against a second term by the non supporters. Hardship has been deep, prolonged, and unevenly distributed. The poor bear the heaviest burden while the elite are insulated. Nigerians have lived through subsidy removal. Nigerians have lived through subsidy removal shocks, currency pressures, inflation, and the quiet collapse of small businesses. And people continue to ask a simpler question: where is the gain? Governance issues, insecurity, electricity failure, governance issues, insecurity, electricity failure, lack of social safety nets have not seen equivalent urgency. The APC's endorsement was a party affair, not a referendum from the masses. The question of whether Tinubu deserves a second term is ultimately separable from whether his policies are working long term. Structural reforms that ought in the short term can still be right, but deserving another term also means being accountable to the people, not just to macroeconomic metrics. As it stands, the majority of ordinary Nigerians have not failed to relieve, and the burden of proving that the pain is translating into gain falls squarely on the next 2 years. The 2027 election will likely be decided by one question every voter answers personally: is my life better than it was in 2023? For most Nigerians right now, the honest answer to that is a capital no. Comment below, share, and subscribe. Bring out your own view, share your thoughts on this. Do you want President Tinubu to come back the second term or not? And are you going to vote him or not? Share your views, share your views, share what you think.